He said 1 minute.
1 minute?
Yeah.
Oh, well, now we're live now. So welcome back to the Artificery Star Wars Unlimited podcast. This is episode 6, if I remember correctly when I created this episode file.
That's right.
Yep, episode 6, because our last episode was a special episode, which we released our spoilers, and then we didn't record a regular podcast last week. So we're back here with episode 6. Joining me, as always, we have Garrett, aka 0 Hour, and
Hello.
we have the other Nick, aka Texture.
Wear my Rebels shirt
Where
today.
he's decked out. I don't know if anybody noticed my Loth cat shirt that I wore like 2 weeks ago, but I like that shirt. it's like an AT-AT with cat heads on both sides. It's a Loth cat.
Don't even think I noticed that. But...
Anyway, we got a lot of stuff we could talk about this week. There's a bunch of spoiler cards, at least 10 officially, and 2 that have come from like some sort of French event that's going on this weekend.
So many.
I'm gonna just dub it French TwitchCon because that's probably like that's the only other time we've seen the giant cards. So
it's true. That seems to be a trend. But I don't know. Before we get into that, like, let's cover like what have you been playing? What's your favorite thing to play lately? Have you got any games in? I can't remember if I was on late. Was I on late night after our spoilers?
Yep.
And yeah, so that even happened too. So I don't know. I'll throw it to Taxter first. What have you been playing?
I like Krennic, and I'm glad that he feels good now. More good now. That's where I'm at. He's just fun. He's the closest thing to feeling like a control-y thing that I feel like we got. I like putting up just big walls and then not having to. He's pretty good at having initiative too, because you don't have to use his ability. It just works. He's just got units that have synergy. I don't know. Krennic just flows well with me. I know he's maybe not the best, but I haven't played him against a lot of Boba and Sabine, which, as we might see when we talk about the tournament thing, seems to be some of the more popular stuff.
I believe in Krennic. It's like me, you, and Faith on the community Discord. There's 3 of us.
I think 0 likes Krennic too. So
0 likes.
Yes.
Krennic. Maybe there's 4. There's dozens. But yeah, I don't know. He's not very popular, which just seems weird to me. Like, and I think it's because his ability is like not flashy or splashy. Like, so people kind of overlook it, but like it's very efficient and does work, like you said, without you having to commit actions to it.
And the restore. This restore is like, it's noticeable. And
yeah, like people don't do the math. Like when you flip him, they're like, "Oh, he's a little 2/7. Like, what's that doing?" But like, you get a damage on him, makes him a 3/7, and then you get the restore, and that's like a 5 HP swing. Like if you have damage to heal off your bases, like that's better than Boba, at least as far as like a board positioning type swing. Boba at only 4 attack. Good stuff. Garrett, what are you playing?
I was playing a little Thrawn, and then I built a Krennic with Cunning, and I love it. Like Krennic, he's a 2. Like you were saying, he's a 2/7. Like he's hard to kill. You can't just pop him.
I mean, you can, and people do.
Sure.
Just people pop, but Luke right away. People pop. You can pop anything,
right? But you can't
Thrawn's
take down. You can't vanquish. Like you can't.
Yeah.
You can't kill him out of hand usually. Like
yeah, you can't. There's a lot of ways that overwhelming barrage doesn't get big enough to get him. Like they need specific units.
I mean, and he is sneaky, where it's like he might not be the most threatening thing on your board, but he might be. But it's hard to say. You know,
I've been playing him control, and it is oppressive. Cunning has oppressive cards.
It's kind of a thing.
Yeah, no
That's
good
interesting.
To be dead.
So you're playing him with Cunning, and I think like kind of segueing into the tournament that happened, like everybody's talking about how like green villain, like everybody's in green villain. So like what makes you want to play Cunning over the overwhelming barrage super laser technician?
I'm more mid-range control-y than I am ramp. That's just who I am.
Just who
I
you
like
are.
Yeah, I like Waylay. I like limiting your options.
No, that's
Waylay
fair.
works well.
I'm still
No good
kind
to me
of.
dead.
I'm not great on Waylay in general. Like I feel like a lot of times I just sit on it and like I don't know when this is the right time to play this because a lot of time I feel like I'm losing value just playing it.
Yeah, you definitely want to
So
play it
I
on
don't.
something more expensive than it is.
Yeah, but I want to. Yeah.
I'm fine
I want to play
trading
big stuff too.
costs with it. I
Yeah,
think
I mean
you
that's fair.
like you want to. I think a lot of the mistake that people make with Waylay is you're waiting for their bomb to Waylay, and I think if you can get it out early, like if you can bounce something early and just wreck someone's board state on like turn 3, it can have huge impacts.
Yeah, it's
Right.
more
Yeah.
like I just want to get ahead on the board in some way, and I don't always feel like Waylay's getting me there, but sometimes it can.
Yeah. It's hard to see the value of like the downstream like repercussions of if you waylay their creature their unit, and you get like you're gonna get like board control of some extent. Like how much extra value does that get you versus essentially they get the card back? So I don't know. I'm kind of with Garrett. Like I think you could in the right deck play it like round 3, round 4, get you a solid board control, and like you just kind of push some damage through. And then if you get to another waylay or cunning or something, even better.
It's not really good versus aggro though. It's just
It isn't.
too slow.
Yeah, that is a problem.
It's too slow. Yeah, the value's not there. If like I'll pay 3 to bounce your 2 costs, they're like okay, I'll put it back out. And it's cheap. Like you paid more resources to put it back in my hand than it cost me to play it. Yeah, what stuff was I playing? Like I was a guest on late night, the late night stream on a Saturday last week. I kind of I don't know. I bounced around a few different things. We played a lot of Thrawn, and Thrawn like hasn't been that impressive. I think in general is the feeling I got there. But of course he was like new, so of course we were gonna play a lot of them. What else did I play? I did my Sabine aggro in blue. Lost a very close game. I'm still a believer in Sabine aggro with Security Complex. Um, she just didn't get there. And I did the Vader removal deck again, which I still really like, and it got some. It has a really.
Has it gotten many new cards?
It's got a really good one coming up that we got previewed in France.
Oh
That
yeah, the
would love to go right
Avenger.
in there. Yeah, the Avenger. It's like perfect. Like, give me the curve of like Count Dooku, Palpatine, and Avenger at the top end, and be like, every one of my units is huge and killing your stuff when it comes into play. So just got to get there. Um, I actually
Speaking
was
of like
really
red blue, I saw like garbage rollers put up a video that was actually running red Krennic, so even they're coming onto it now. It seems.
yeah they've
Spoilers,
been
he
one of their
won.
Red Krennic. Yeah, I do like Red Krennic. I don't know if I like it better than double
I
command
don't know if I
Krennic.
like it over the other ones, but it's cool that it's playable too.
Yeah, Krennic's one of like the best leaders. Like I don't know if I was talking like favorite leaders I've played over the past 2 weeks. Uh, Tarkin is up there. Krennic is up there, and Boba's up there. And like I've seen people ask me like, what do you think the like 3 best leaders out there right now? And I like say Tarkin and Boba, and people are like, yeah, that makes sense. And I'm like, and then I like Krennic, and they're like, you're crazy. Those are my 3
I haven't
favorites.
seen as much Tarkin around lately, but I think that's just because he's been out since like forever now, and he's
Krennic
green. He's a
just
green villain, you know. We know what he does.
He's
Krennic
just
just
very
like
solid.
encourages you to trade, and then you get stronger for it. Like I don't. How do you not like that?
Yeah, I love Krennic. Love it. Um, and then going on what we've been playing, like I think Nick alluded to it, but there was the first like actual tournament for this game hosted on TTS. Shout out to oh god, I forget his name that ran the tournament, but they created a new server for it, and Rish I don't know how to pronounce it, but he ran a tournament on Saturday. I didn't get to participate, but I'll be hopefully being able to participate in some of the future ones. And it was limited to 16 players, so we only saw 16 decks. And the breakdown was kind of interesting because I think there was like 8 bobas. Like there was a lot of
It was a
bobas.
lot of Bobas.
6.
Yeah,
There were 6 Bobas.
6 bobas, and most of them were green.
The
I think there was
green,
one
yeah.
red.
Yep.
There was 4 Sabines, and then the rest was just like a mishmash of like there was like one Vader, one Krennic.
I think it was actually only 14 too, so that was like most of the meta.
Yeah, no Tarkins. That was like the most surprising thing. Like I knew people would be all up on Boba and friggin' Sabine, but nobody brought Tarkin, which seemed real weird to me. And then like yeah, the top 4 ended up being 2 Bobas, a Krennic, and a Vader, and the Vader ended up taking it all down. Thoughts, Garrett? What do you think?
It's not. I mean, Vader's good. Like, I don't think that's surprising to anybody. Like,
People are pretty
Vader.
surprised that Vader won.
I'm a
There
little
was a lot
surprised
of
Boba didn't.
Vader is dead after they revealed "No Good to Me" dead. I
Right.
definitely
That
heard
was
that.
I,
It's like, oh,
like,
Vader's unplayable now.
he's still really good. Like, I
I
don't.
know.
He's not. I don't know if he's gonna end up being the best leader. But like that ability, you have to account for it. It's damage every turn as long as they're playing for it. And then when he comes out, he's scary. Like he's still Vader. Like he's still gonna be scary. They don't FFG does not make a Star Wars game where Vader is not scary. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I think people are really like they saw the No Good to Me dead, and they're like, "Oh, it kills Vader." But like, I think with No Good to Me dead, there's a problem, and we saw this in like the Top Cut videos, and I think they're pretty like they're out there somewhere if you want to rewatch them. But like, if Vader versus Boba like keeps the board like even or empty, like up to when Vader flips, playing No Good to Me dead to like tap down a Vader while you have like no board to speak of doesn't feel great. It's like, yeah, Vader's exhausted, but he's still there and he's going to be back in 2 rounds, and you
And
don't
you
have
can
a
still
board.
barrage off of them.
And he's still barrage off of
Yeah.
him too, which is huge. Yeah, it
Barrage,
doesn't.
lightsaber.
Yeah,
There's
lightsaber on him,
options.
barrage on him. Yeah, that was interesting. I think looking at it was Thork.
Thork, I
I
think.
always
Yeah.
trying to
Yep.
pronounce people's names.
No start.
Was who was playing the deck, and like his list was interesting because he was running the full complement of 3 fallen lightsabers and 3 Vader lightsabers, which I thought was interesting because like I don't know if you wanted to put like the only they locked in the list before Fifth Brother was spoiled, so he
Right.
couldn't play Fifth Brother in the list. So like the Fallen Lightsaber kind of only worked on Vader, but I guess it's still kind of useful to like put on other
You
stuff.
can play it on
Still
stuff as a
put it on
buff.
a cell block guard. You get a 6/6 sentinel. Like
Yeah, that's probably fine. But yeah, if I,
sure, use your no good to me dead on my 6/6 sentinel.
yeah.
Like, all
Um,
right.
and then the secret tech that I don't know if it's a secret tech, that might be giving it too much credit, but I think at least as far as like Krennic and the Vader went, they were both running Green Villain, and both of them ran the 3 resupplies main deck. They weren't side deck, which I think is a great call. Like if you think that the meta is going to be a lot of Boba, like because Boba's whole thing is like he's got a bunch of ways to punish you playing units. Like he's got like
Mhm.
Bosk and the Boba unit, and they're not like super efficient as just hitting your base. So like if you're running the resupplies, you can legit just take a turn off and resupply, and Boba can't really punish you for it, not very efficiently. So it's
I mean,
kind of
Boba starts punishing you after he comes out and has like that big turn if you have stuff for it to kill, and then the
yeah. If
fire
you have
spray
stuff
that
for to
comes.
kill,
I was like, five and six is when Boba really shines because the Boba deploy and fire spray are both pretty big
yeah.
break points for it.
But I guess at this point, like, okay, so if Boba's like, 30, 40, 50% of the meta, what kind of decks do you play to beat Boba? Do you guys got any suggestions? Like, what should people try? I'll throw it to Nick. What would you do? How do
I
we
don't
beat
know. I
Boba?
haven't played against enough green Boba. Um, like I don't think a lot of that is still like topping out at like 6 mana. Like I think like all those lists were pretty much topping out at like gladiators and fire sprays, right? Like none of
Yep,
them were trying to run the huge stuff.
they weren't.
The
I
Boba
mean,
ones,
I
no, they pretty much top out of fire spray.
I wouldn't have felt bad taking Krennic into it. I don't know how Sabine would do against. I didn't watch too many Sabine versus Bobas. I didn't watch all the matches for that tournament, but I don't like aggro. But Sabine still seemed like it wasn't a bad choice.
Yeah, like they didn't do great. I think only one Sabine made it out of their pod. The format of the event was kind of weird. It wasn't like straight Swiss. They ran like round robin pods, and then like a winner would come out of a pod or something. I don't know how they did it, but like I don't think none of the Sabines made it to the top four anyway.
Okay.
It wasn't great for Sabine. But yeah, I do like the Krennic. Yeah, Garrett, if I had to beat Boba, do you have any insights?
I mean,
No.
control, like run low units and control, and you have to play a tempo game against Boba because you kind of don't care that much about initiative maybe against Boba because if they're going first, like Boba's just gonna be waiting until you attack. So you just have to play around that if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Run
Yeah,
space, like go a little bit heavier on the space side. I mean, they're gonna run fire spray, but Boba can't hit you. He can't hit your space units. Boss can, but Boba can't.
that's a good point. Outside of fire spray, they don't have a lot of space answers.
And every Boba's gonna be running TIE defenders as well.
Yes.
TIE defenders are a great card. I was seeing a lot of Boba's the energy conversion lab on the friggin' TIE
Yeah,
defenders. It was doing work. Like um
I
yeah,
think that's also worth discussing. The fact that every deck took
yes.
a 25 health base.
Yes, yeah, like there's been many debates on various, places of will the 30 health bases be, constructed viable, or is everyone just going to take a 25 health base? First tournament, 14 or whatever decks, everyone took a 25 health base.
I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean,
I think a 30 health base is definitely viable. I don't know why. The faster you are, the more likely you are to take a special base. Because if you are know that you're going to be the aggressor in most of your matchups, I think that makes sense. If I'm playing a control deck, I mean, the only one that I really care about as a control deck is maybe Energy Conversion Lab because it's the only thing that straight up gives you a good trade. I feel like on the board, like that you control. Like the shield can be good, but you don't necessarily control when or how it gets removed. You're guaranteed to probably save 4 on your base with the cunning base,
I
but
mean, Jeddah. If you're like for my Krennic deck, I run Jeddah because that's just another
I mean, I
piece of board
probably would
control.
too.
So like I've taken one of your heavy hitters out of the round. He's done.
Well, let's put it this way. So like if red's going to be a controlish color for villain as an option and I want to run Krennic with red, I'm not taking Tarkin Town most likely. Like I don't Target Town can be fine, but I might need the health. I don't know.
Yeah, but
It's not in everything. I don't think it's going to be an auto include in every deck. At least not for me.
Tarkin Town with Krennic sounds good though because you can
Yeah, you
drop a
do want
Death
to try to
Trooper
trade a
and
little bit.
into Tarkin Town. You can trade and then use Tarkin Town
That
or
is
not trade,
that
but
is true in the fact that Krennic does uniquely have some access to some units that are good at pinging like that.
Yeah, I think
So
like
maybe
an argument, at least for the 25 health bases, is that
the
skilled
blue one
players.
feels the worst to me.
Yeah, but yeah, I was gonna say skilled players are gonna probably generally gravitate to whatever gives them the more options during the game over health, and that I don't know. I think that tends to lead like players towards the like. I would rather like 5 health isn't necessarily worth as much as just having options. So, and that's what most of
That's how
the
much aggro's in the meta too. If I'm playing a
true.
control deck and there's a ton of aggro and I can't sideboard my base, I might just need the extra health
that's true.
baseline.
I mean, Krennic's also another good reason to run the 25 healths because he has that restore too. So like, you're losing 5 up front, but he's getting you 10, maybe more.
That would be really good if you got your 10.
That's a lot. I need to see someone run like the super base health deck. Run the 30 health base. Run like Krennic. Run the repairs.
Oh,
Run the
I like the idea of just like healing. Like, is it
like
like
you
the
have to
white
do
deck essentially?
57 damage to defeat me. Good
Yeah,
luck.
that does sound kind of awesome. So, I mean, right now the thing is, like hero blue green is probably the best you got for that. So, like, if you run like a Luke with green and home one and Yoda and Kanan and all that, like that has the most restore keywords right now.
Yep.
Could even run vigilance. Pay the extra
Yeah.
2 for it.
Need more
I think
like
Krennic
boosters
might
for double
make an
blue.
okay double blue deck in the end. I don't know that it's there now, but
I
I'm
mean,
a
we have to see
believer.
what other double aspect cards there are, like if there are any more in the set.
Yeah.
I assume there will be, but
Yeah, just
don't
having
know.
more blue stuff in general to fill out the curve. Like we haven't seen everything. Like that's the hard part of running the double aspect decks is just we have half a set and probably half of most of these
And
aspects.
that's the thing that limits your card choices the most.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. I would say the last thing, at least in regards to the tournament and just the games I played on Saturday with the late night crew, is like even for just having half the set, I'm like super impressed with like how many different decks there are out there to play. Like it's not to like just pump the game's ego so much. I don't know, brown nose. I don't know what to call it, but anyway, I feel like the game is in a really awesome place already, and it's only gonna get awesomer as we get more cards. Like just by looking at I look at my decks on SWUDB, SWUDB, and like I have like 10 decks and they all feel different with different leaders, and we have half a set. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
I agree. I mean, I think pretty much every leader right now is viable except maybe IG88 and Terra, and that's just because we don't have the cards for
I
them
think
yet.
Hera's more
Really,
viable than freaking Grand Inquisitor.
I don't know.
IG88
Now that we got fifth brother or whatever,
he's got one guy.
he's got one card. That's good with
Got
him.
one
It's better
guy
than zero.
ready to go.
I
Yeah, I don't know.
mean,
That was
Fifth
something that came
Brother.
up on late night too. There was two of the guys played the IG88 versus Grand Inquisitor matchup, and Grand Inquisitor got absolutely smashed. Um, and it's because
There's a lot of shenanigans that you can pull off with it, though. I feel like
yeah,
if you have the right units, it's just we don't have the units that pair with it yet. At least not with what I've seen. I don't know. Have people just been running Grand Inquisitor mono red most of the time? That
I've seen
also
a bit
might
of
be a
that, but
problem.
I don't know. Like, yeah, but you're right. He doesn't have enough stuff that he can use his ability on, and then on top of that, like stuff that has like grit or like Fifth Brother's ability, where like you
I
feel good
mean,
to use his ability on.
drop a light fallen lightsaber on the braggart, and Grand Inquisitor is real good.
Yeah, I mean that's how I feel too. But
No, that puts it out of range. It makes him 4
no, it
power,
doesn't.
right?
It's a
Oh no,
0.
he's 0. Never
Zero.
mind.
Yeah,
Okay, so he's got two combos: the braggart with a
yeah,
lightsaber, and he's got freaking Fifth Brother with his raid stuff.
yeah.
I think
Braggart
he'll
with
get there.
lightsaber is actually kind of nasty because that's a 10 damage round 2.
Yeah, you just gotta live the
If you
dream.
can pull it off, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so you have two ways to lose it. I don't know. And, like speaking of Fifth Brother, let's just like move into like the spoilers that we've seen. Let's start with the Big Daddy, the Grand Admiral Thrawn, our new leader that we saw at the end of last week. He is. I'm. I didn't tell you guys. I'll put the cards in post so people can see them. But he's a new leader. He's got the. He's like nobody thought he was going to be in cunning. He's in cunning. He's cunning villainy. Uh, he's not blue, sadly. Despite
His blue.
he is blue, but he's not blue. If you get my drift. At the start of the action phase, he gets to look at the top card of each player's deck, and then as an action, he can pay 1 and exhaust himself to reveal the top card of any player's deck and exhaust a unit that costs the same or less than the revealed card. He has a 6 resource flip, and then he is a big butted unit at a 3 power, 9 HP. Then when the action phase starts, you basically kind of get to do the same thing. You get to look at the stuff at the start of the action phase, and then it's on attack. You can reveal the top card exhaust the unit. Garrett, what do you think of Thrawn? You've been playing him.
I like him. I think he will benefit from something that punishes initiative, because Thrawn is probably not going to have initiative most of the time.
But he wants it too. That's like,
I mean, you always kind of want initiative, but like I think just based on Thrawn's ability, like you kind of don't care. It's if you don't care about initiative with Thrawn, you're forcing them to attack with something first if they think that they're going to get it locked down.
That is a good point. The forcing them to attack. You still are kind of limiting your opponent's options by.
I mean, I think Thrawn in this is going to be a lot like Thrawn in Destiny, where you have to play a different game with him. Like you have to, you're not playing the same game. You're playing the long game with Thrawn. You're playing the I'm fine with this game going to turn 15, like because I'll just
I also
lock you
just don't
down.
know what color he's gonna pair with. Like
That is, yeah,
that's like my big question. It's like, I don't know. Like he definitely doesn't seem like he has all the tools he needs to be as effective as I want him to be. And it's possible he might not be this set too. Like it's possible that he just needs more set stuff. Honestly, blue. I mean, green's good for ramp. I think that's the most. I think I've tried it mostly with green, but blue. I mean, there's the regional governor card we're seeing coming up that also pairs fairly well with Thrawn and knowing people's hands.
I've been running him with blue and mono cunning.
Yeah, I played him at least a game, and I watched a lot of games on Saturday, and I feel like he's wants to be in whatever color gets the board wipe. I don't know who it is, but like that's
You
what
mean not
the.
overwhelming barrage, like a more definitive?
I mean, right now I would probably play him in green because of overwhelming
I
barrage,
mean,
but I
that's
think
kind of where I was.
his ability needs that. Like you're exhausting stuff, but you're not removing it, so you're stalling. But like he needs that like payoff of like, what am I stalling to? I need to be able to like play something that like clears the board or locks it down, and like none of our end games are quite that good. Like the best thing we have is overwhelming barrage, but I think by the time you hit the point, like if you're expending resources into his leader side to tap, to exhaust stuff down, like you need something that really like gives you the value back from your resources you've been spending. And like even overwhelming barrage feels like it comes up a little bit short sometimes.
Yeah,
So I don't know. Like I'm assuming like some color is gonna get the just defeat every unit card, and that's what he wants. Like he wants to stall into the board reset, and then let's go from there.
even. I mean, I definitely want to see more big removal that isn't just the one that we have. Even like
Yeah,
a flame strike from like Hearthstone is just like pay 7, deal 4 to every enemy. I was like, that seems really good. Like,
yeah,
obviously it might not be those same stats, but just like something that's just like, yeah, just like doesn't have to be based on. That seems like a red thing to me, where like I just want to deal damage to a bunch of stuff. Boom, do it, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah. Red's a color. If you want to do it, you just do it.
yeah, just give me the kill everything. If I just want you to die, just do it.
Yeah, but I think
30
that's the
damage
thing
to
that like
base.
turns off like using Thrawn. Like I think Thrawn's leader side ability in the early rounds is like a trap. Like without having that, like I can't like on round two, three,
Yeah.
four. Like it feels bad to pay a resource to tap something down, knowing that I don't have like any over the top thing to stall into. It's like I'm just spending my resources and not controlling the board, like not getting the board control. Like, yeah, I'm tapping your
Not
unit down
gaining the
so it
better
gets in,
position.
but it's still
You're
there.
maintaining your base health over actually regaining control of the board.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep playing smaller units, but they're not getting me board control back. And I think that's a problem, at least like it, with his leader side. It's just you can't use it early. Like it's a trap. You got to. It's late. Like maybe after he flips and dies, you might be okay to use it, but early it's just a mistake because underdropping stuff just to get
like
a tap off doesn't feel
he
great.
combos so well with Boba though. Like you exhaust their unit and then you hit it with Boba. Like
Nah, that
Oh yeah,
might
yeah, little
be
boba. Yeah,
yeah,
a
yeah, it
combo.
is very good with that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And that's like more mid range you play. Like I think that's
Yeah.
like the
That's
only
where I
way you
live.
can build him now. Like you can't
Which is
build.
also why I like feel compelled to have Bosk at 3 of it that deck too. I mean,
Yeah,
as of
yeah,
now, I think you probably put that in all yellow villain, but like, it's like, man, if I can get Boss to stick, and I'm also running all these events and stuff, that gives me the damage. Like, yeah, I can exhaust your stuff, but maybe I can also like swing back a little more with Bosk.
yeah. And I think that's the problem though is that once you get to the point where like I got to play Thrawn mid range, you just go, why am I just not playing Boba? And like just expanding my mid range turns with more resources to do tricky
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the next card. What's on the swooty bee? The Outer Rim Headhunter. Not a super amazing card. It's a single aspect cunning space unit, cost 2. It is a 1 power 3 HP, but it has raid 1 and then has an ability of on attack you can if you control a leader unit, you may exhaust a non-leader unit. Tack, what do you think of this one?
It feels worse than the A Wing because it dies to the A Wing and can't kill it, but I
I
mean,
immediately put it into my Sabine alongside the A-Wing.
I
Feels
mean
great.
that's fair if you're running yellow Sabine. The Yeah, and Sabine it also even makes the most sense because the ability is basically free if you have an early leader that's going to come out. Like, I just get a free exhaust just for using this. That does seem really good. I don't know who you're playing this in. Like, I don't know that I really want to be putting this in a Thrawn deck, or I mean, maybe it's fine in a Boba.
Yeah, maybe Boba. I definitely like my yellow Sabine immediately put it in because it's like, why not? Like that Sabine deck's I think about pretty much even ground and space units now, and like the Outer Rim Headhunter with the early flip Sabine, like you said, just it feels fine. So I
If
think
you're actually playing yellow Krennic, I actually would put that in yellow Krennic. Like,
Yep.
that's actually seems. Oh, this is actually like a first like spaceship that I think of that actually feels good. Like, it kind of reminds me of like the Arc, where it's actually like a 2/3 basically when it comes out, which is Villa doesn't
I
really have a lot of that.
I run it in my Krennic.
yeah, we can get a
I don't have a
damage
lot
on
of 1 and 2
point.
costers in there, so it needed something.
Yep. Next card, the Regional Governor. This one's a fun card. Had a lot of fun discussions about it when it was spoiled. So it's a 2 cost single aspect command unit, or sorry, single aspect vigilance unit, ground unit, 1 power, 4 HP. When played, it's one of these fun things. You get to name a card, and while this unit is in play, opponents can't play the named card. And we had a clarification. I was actually wrong on my initial understanding of the ruling on this one. If you name, say, Luke Skywalker, they can't play any card named Luke Skywalker.
That's
Uh,
really weird to me. Still, like,
it is.
not what I would have expected.
That
Obviously,
does
like,
not include a leader, though,
le-
right?
no,
No,
that would
it's
be
leaders aren't
unfair.
played; they're deployed. So not super
I
relevant until we get like multiple copies at
I
some
don't
point.
expect we're getting multiple copies of the same unit in this set. Like, we've seen a unit and a leader, but I can't imagine we see 2 units of the same thing in the same.
How
If we do, it's going to be Luke or Vader,
how
and
else are we gonna
probably
get 8
nobody else.
Vaders?
That's true.
You get Dave Vaders,
So
but
that
yeah,
is a weird rule,
it is
but
like
over
when I read it. Let's like name a card. Like
yeah,
I didn't think of like name a name. I thought name a card. Like a card is a very specific thing.
it
Like
does say name a card, not name a name. But
yeah,
yeah,
like a Luke Skywalker is not it could be the name of a card, but like a card if I'm identifying a specific card, like Luke Skywalker does not identify which Luke
just wait
Skywalker
till we get the Luke Skywalker event, then you'll really be screwed.
the event is Luke Skywalker
Luke
doing shit.
Skywalker event, Luke Skywalker upgrade, Luke Skywalker base. Why not?
Anyway, yeah, no, like I double reached out to Tyler after he posted his tweet just to check, and he's like, no, that's the way it works. Yeah, I would have liked better wording on it, but you know, it is what it is. You know, they tell me how it works. That's how it works. But yeah, as far as like how to like playing this, like I really like this card, even right
This
now.
seems like one of the best cards in the game to me. This is like, I like blue. This makes me like blue even more. This is like super cool. Like, 2 drop that says like, if I nail the thing that I'm most scared of and force you to attack it, like I want to drop this against Sabine and be like surprise strike. None of that. None of that bullshit.
None of that bullshit.
It's got
Now
4 health.
imagine.
Like it's not a
Yeah.
pushover for.
I was like, if I make Sabine spend 4 health worth of damage on this thing, I feel great.
Yeah, the one attack, the one power is the downside, but it's an Imperial and an official. So Tarkin,
Yeah,
it's got the
it like
butt for
combos
Krennic.
super well with that whole thing.
Yeah, it works with Tarkin, works with Krennic, works with the Emperor's Royal Guard. Like if you're just doing that curve where you're like, I play this guy, and then now my Emperor's Royal Guard is a Sentinel to protect it, so you can't kill it, and you still can't play that card. Like, and if I get someone to like burn their open fire on the regional governor just to get it off the board, that feels like a win because I'm like
Yep.
getting the resource advantage.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like it a lot.
like yeah, like even if you play that and then like Sabine hits it on the second round with open fire, well, they didn't play a unit that round. They literally spent their entire round killing your thing. Like,
Yeah, and spent more
so good.
resources than what you spent on the unit. Like they spent
Yeah,
3 for an open fire to kill a 2-cost unit, just so they could unlock the ability to play, the card that you named.
Like at the very least, it's a sideboard card.
Yeah,
I'm very compelled to put it in every blue deck,
put it every
just straight up.
deck. Yeah, I don't know. I think it has less synergy with like the hero blue deck. So I don't
I mean,
know about
that's
hero blue
possibly
stuff.
true. I mean, yes, it doesn't have the synergy because it's not because of the Imperial and stuff, but the actual
Yeah,
ability still.
like we don't have a hero leader that does like Krennic can like synergize with just it having a big butt and getting damage and then gets the power. Tarkin synergizes with the Imperial. Doesn't synergize obviously with any rebel thing. So I don't know. I think it's obviously you're gonna play it probably more in Imperials, less in villains, less in heroes.
Well, and like I think Luke, you like
Luke can't shield it, sadly.
he can't shield
Luke
it, but
shielded would be amazing. Well, he can shield it
you
after he flips, I guess.
you can play Spark of Rebellion, so you know what's in their hand, and then play this thing.
Name it. You and your
I mean, Villain also has Probe Droid, which helps too.
Yep.
Yeah, Tark or Thrawn with Probe Droid and Regional Governor can hit a lot of what he wants. Yeah, moving on to the next card. The Black One. This is Poe's ship. It's a 6-cost, aggressive, heroic space unit. 4/4. When played and when defeated, you can discard your hand, and if you do, you draw 3 cards. And for the rules clarification, you can discard an empty hand to draw 3 cards. I think we even got that confirmed
Yeah,
by
that
the
was in the Q&A, I
So,
think.
yeah. Tack, what do you think about the Black One?
I'm pretty not. I'm not very into that by default. Just 4/4 for 6 doesn't feel great. The card draw isn't bad, but like it doesn't really gain you a lot of tempo. Um, it's a better body in space than it would be on ground. Uh, I I haven't tried playing it yet. I definitely don't want to necessarily pull this as a legendary if I'm opening packs because it's gonna be it if it sees play, it's gonna be very narrow. And by narrow, I mean like I think it's gonna be in Han. And as of right now, like I can see a red Han burn your hand down, play this. That doesn't seem bad. I can actually see this feeling good in Han, and I can't really think of many other places where I'd actually really care.
Yeah, I
Like
agree. What do you
Sabine
think?
doesn't really want to be going up to 6 and then playing this when they could just be doing other stuff.
Yeah, Garrett, what do you think?
I think it's a weird one because like I like everything about it except the 4/4.
Yeah, yeah, agreed.
But like I think you could play it in a ramp deck since you're burning a bunch of cards already to get to there.
Like
Which is what
Han.
Han does, kind of.
Right. I mean, yeah, if you're running Han, you're probably if you're running Han red, you're running this probably. Um, but like in a ramp deck, since you're burning so many cards to get that, you're not gonna have a big hand anyway by the time this comes out at 6. And since it's coming out at 6, and you're probably getting there faster, it's probably not bad when you play it. Um, I mean, when defeated, you get to do it as well. So
Yeah,
you could trade something and get 3 more cards. So I don't know. It's fine. I don't particularly love it. I don't think it's. I think it's one of the weaker legendaries we've seen,
Yeah, it's
but I
probably
don't
the
hate it.
I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get a full on Imperial Rebel synergy with Resistance eventually, but like, that's a card that'll probably see better when it's like, oh, let's just do a Resistance deck with,
Oh yeah,
I don't know, like Leia, leader of the Resistance or something like that leader. Like, I'm sure we'll get some stuff like that. Like,
the only thing that boosted right now is Wedge, and like you're probably not
yeah,
running Wedge at the moment.
No, yeah,
Um,
like yeah, it's something that people would be like, this feels like a top end aggro card, but like Tack said, I kind of already want to have the game sewed up before I can play Black One. Like if I get to round 5 and I can play Black One and draw 3 more cards that I'm hoping to play going into like round 6 as in like an aggro deck, I feel like I'm like losing horribly already. I don't know.
yeah.
Like
And it is a little out of the red wheelhouse from what they kind of described. It's like they said, red hero is supposed to be more the aggressive aggro-y cards, whereas red villain is more control-y cards. I mean,
right.
that's obviously the archetypes, but like Mace and Black One aren't really aggro cards. Like I know
Yeah,
some people put Mace and Sabine, but I don't see how that's really
I,
the
definitely
correct
not
there,
call.
Mace. I can see the connection with Black One where people be like, it's to refill or like regas up, maybe, but I just think ideally it's not something you want to do in
there
act.
will be a deck that uses this well. Um, I don't know what that deck is yet, but there will be one at some point.
Yeah, I mean, there could be like an aggressively slanted mid range deck that is maybe using some like when you use a lot of like shoot first and snapshot reflexes and stuff like that, like you run out of cards quick. Like maybe
Yeah.
this fits in there to just be like, I'm mid range and I'm gonna refuel up and keep going in like the middle turns because I've been like maybe I am using bamboozle that I pitched a card for and I like, need to make up that card advantage. Like I think that's like the deck that will fit this, but like that's hard to imagine right now. It's not really aggro. It's like aggressive mid range.
Even then, it's like it's hard to imagine if that deck's actually going to be a top tier deck too,
Yeah. Or
which it
ramp.
just might never be.
Like the problem is the Gladiator Star Destroyer and Fet's Fire Spray, and they're both
Just
6.
crush it.
Yeah, they both
Yeah,
kicked the
like
crap out of this thing.
what do you do if you play that and then they play that? It's like,
Doesn't feel
all
great
right,
to discard your hand again right after. Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so like even in an aggro deck, maybe you're like digging for reach. So, like that's the other possibility. Like I'm gonna play this, draw 3 cards, didn't get my reach, kill it, chuck those, draw 3 more, like try to get to my reach. I mean,
yeah.
it's really wing and a prayer stuff. Like I don't know. I still don't think it makes a cut in aggro, but like I kind of see if it was 5 cost, maybe it would have been too good. Like I wonder if it's like a granular, like
I mean,
a
it's
falls on the
oh,
wrong side of granularity.
everything's a granularity problem in the end. We
Right.
need to be doing like on a scale of 1 to 10,000, and like differences of 1 apiece to be like the most granular. But that would be absurd and uncanny,
Yeah.
anyways. But
But yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next.
is a problem.
Moving on to the next card. Also not super impressive, sadly. The Chimera. This is Thrawn's Star Destroyer. It's an
That's what
8.
I'm most sad about.
Yeah, this is kind of, it did make me sad too, but it is an 8 cost cunning villainy unit, of course, to go with Thrawn. Space unit. It's Star Destroyer, obviously. It is a hefty 8 power, 7 HP, and it has shielded, so it protects itself. But that's it. Then on attack, you can name a card, and an opponent reveals their hand and discards a card with that name from it. Um, Garrett, I think we're up to. What do you think of this one? I don't know.
I mean, I think it's good in Thrawn since you have hand knowledge already. Uh, outside of that, I don't know if I like it very much.
I don't know if I
Um,
like it in Thrawn even.
but Thrawn can play to 8 resources because that's just you play the stall game, and by the time you drop
Maybe
this, they shouldn't be able to deal with it if you're playing Thrawn correctly. Like you should be able to drop it, and they shouldn't have an answer for it if you're playing the Thrawn game that Thrawn wants to play.
Yeah, I mean that is the one slightly redeeming thing about it. I think the people that have been bagging on it like a little too hard is well, no, actually, if it was on play, it would be so much better.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh,
let me
yes.
step
It would
that
be.
back.
It would be
The on
playable.
attack is what makes it garbage.
Yep. 100%. If it was on played and on attack, or even just one time on played,
Just
it
on
would
play, so
be
you can name the thing that can
significantly
kill it.
more playable. Yeah.
Right, that's the thing. If it was on
Absolutely.
played and you could name like I'm gonna play this and name Vanquish or Waylay or whatever the hell I'm afraid of that you might just instantly just take it out with. It'd be way better.
Yeah.
But I can't do that. Like if you have some way to give it ambush, which would be like Piet,
Piet.
is it
That's
like
it.
Piet and a Chimera? Fine, but that's a 10 resource 2 card combo. Um, anyway, yeah, no,
I
like
I think it's fine in Thrawn if you're playing the game that Thrawn wants to play. But like if you're not using Thrawn, I don't I don't know if you run it in cunning because you shouldn't need it in cunning at that point.
no, it's way late game. And it is, I don't know, it's just really like on played would have made it so much better.
I mean, you
Like
probably play it in
that's the
draft
sad
either
part.
way.
Was that?
I said I'd play it in limited either way because it's just a
Oh yeah.
big, beefy thing you can't kill.
Yeah, it'd be hard. Yeah, even in limited, we got to see if we can get up to 8 resources in limited. Feels like a lot.
I'd hope so.
Like you're
Even if
like,
there's not enough
I hope we
Sentinel.
can get to 8. Yeah, and I guess that's the main thing. It's just it's hard to play an 8 cost anything that can't like immediately impact the board in some way. It's not
Yeah.
Sentinel. It's not Ambush. It doesn't have like
That's
a
why
come and play ability that does anything.
I don't even like. That's the same. The Relentless, another big Star Destroyer, doesn't. It kind of affects play and then it makes it so that it
Yeah.
can't remove it, but it also doesn't actually catch you up
I
that
like
turn.
Relentless. Yeah, it doesn't catch you up, but I like a Relentless like infinitely more because of the ability to shut down events does affect the board immediately in
It
like
does.
a
I mean,
significant way in a lot of
of the
matches.
4 Star Destroyers that are right, four. There's four now. This is the worst, I
Three.
think.
Devastator, Chimera, Relentless,
Avenger.
Avenger. This is the worst.
This is the worst, and it's sad because Thrawn's the best. So
And it's the worst because it
Thrawn's the
literally
best.
has no impact when you play it, I think is the big thing.
Yeah,
Like Relentless, if you're going against the other control deck or the other deck that's had a lot of events, like that's super impactful. It would like that's the one thing that the Vader green deck and the credit green deck when they both went to Relentless, and if you dropped Relentless versus
you kind of
Boba
win.
is very sad because
Yeah.
like he's
Not
like
much you
all
can
of my
do.
tricks are events. Can't get rid of this guy. I can't no good to me dead him. I can't waylay him. He's going to hit me in the face. Yeah, anyway, Chimera, sad. Um, moving on to the next one. Tiny card, patrolling V-Wing. 2 cost green,
Very tiny.
command. Yeah, unit, the space unit, 1/1, when played, draw a card. God, I heard it. I don't know if this is anything other than like limited filler, but what do you think, Garrett?
Yeah. it's
Yeah,
it's
it's
not
just limited
you
filler.
get a card out of it, so like it's not awful and it's still a body in space, but like
Kills a wing leader.
yeah.
Does kill the wing
I
leader.
mean I think for two I'm playing a TIE fighter or the headhunter. Like I don't
I think it's a card looking for a deck, though. I don't straight up hate. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate it
yeah,
with what we have, but like, I think I put this on Discord. Like, if we get stuff to combo it with, like, if I just get stuff that I don't care how big my unit is, I just want a unit, and like I can do stuff that like defeat a unit to do something, or maybe I can like
yeah.
surprise strike it into something that isn't a bad play. But like that's the kind of stuff it's looking for, and we don't really have that.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean
it doesn't have a home yet.
I'm not outright like ruling it out. It just doesn't I'm not excited about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I need like kamikaze your ship into something kind of thing. Like then we're looking at something maybe we can play. All right, well, let's move on to the way more exciting fifth brother. It's a 3 cost aggression villainy unit, ground unit, obviously. It's a 2/4. It is a force unit, which is notable at least for villains because they've been lacking force
Yeah,
units to do the force stuff. Um, its text is this unit gets raid 1 for each damage on him. So it's kind of like grit, but only while attacking. And then on attack, you can deal 1 damage to him and deal 1 damage to another ground unit. Taxter, give me your thoughts on the fifth brother.
When I first saw him, I was a little like, it's hard to feel like he's a math heavy card just to figure out like where's the value with this guy. I think he's really good. My first impression was like, I'm not sure where he is, just because like, he's got Yoda stats baseline, but like he doesn't restore, he doesn't draw you a card when he dies. And it's like if you play this guy out and he gets traded into on the round that you play him,
That's bad.
he's not killing anything and he just feels bad. He's like just bad. But like he actually gets the tax off, he's gonna punch up for sure. Like baseline, he punches for 4 essentially.
Yeah, 1, 2,
Right?
3, 4. Yep, that's
4,
the math.
yeah, 4.
5, right?
His
Wait,
damage
no, 4.
was 1 damage
math
to
is
himself.
hard. It's too late. So it's 1,
Yeah.
2.
If you play in
damage himself
Krennic,
to
it's
raid
5.
1, 2 damage.
5 in Krennic.
5 in Krennic. Good point there.
Which actually is not bad.
Yeah, that's
and it's the first thing that actually plays well with the Grand Inquisitor. So like you play him out, you deal 2 damage to him with Grand Inquisitor, ready him, attack with him. Now you're at a 6, 7, or so. Is it math? 2 plus 3 plus 1.
You get him up to 5.
5, 6,
plus the
6
damage.
total damage. Yeah.
You do 6, yeah, or you can do 6 at their base.
Or 5 to base and 1 to a unit or something like that.
Yeah,
he's cool, and I think I mean it seems like something as of right now. Like we just don't have a lot that fits in that slot for villain red. So as of now, it's like I think every villain red's putting him in the game because
I would.
He's the best thing we have. It's the
A
best thing we've
2/4
seen
for
there.
3 is still pretty solid.
Yeah, I think even Thork mentioning his Vader deck, he's like, if he could have, he would have had this in there at 3 copies.
Oh yeah. I mean, he trades evenly with like Ezra,
Yep. Yeah, and like you can throw Fallen Lightsaber
or any
on
of the
him.
other 3/4s. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is also kind of like the first like
unit,
cheap
so
target.
Full text. You can what's it? It binds on him.
Yeah.
If you're in blue, he deals damage to himself, and then you can heal it and throw it at other stuff because he's also a force unit. So
I still think we need a few more cheaper force people before I start running it binds and villain.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. But he's one step closer. I imagine there's other Inquisitors we're going to see. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yes, moving on to the next card. Snapshot Reflexes. It's a 1 cost yellow upgrade. Cunning upgrade. Just single cunning aspect. It's a +1/+1. +1 power, +1 HP. And then when played, you can just attack with the attached unit. Pretty simple. Garrett, what do you think of the Snapshot Reflexes?
Great tempo card. I mean, getting a +1/+1 for 1 is already good, and getting to attack at the same time is even better.
It's shitty shoot first.
It's shitty.
Yeah, but it's a shoot first that stays around.
It's not actually bad. I think it's a cool card. It's a slightly different niche than shoot first, but it feels like kind of similar thing. A little bit of reach, a little bit of tempo, a little bit of awesome artwork because the artwork is really good on that. I love that shot of Mando. And I like just seeing Mando on the card.
Yeah. Which people mentioned. We haven't seen Mando on any other card. And
Yeah, he looks dope in that.
I know. Some people are like, what? Mando, Mando was out before they designed. It's like, you guys, Mandalorian released in November of 2019. It was out way before they started designing this game.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be probably more Mando stuff in the art and other things that we see for sure. I do really like Snapshot Reflexes, though my motivation is I just want to put all the immediate attack stuff to combine with Ezra, just so I can hit it all off the top. Like, give me the snapshots, give me the surprise strikes, give me the friggin' fleet lieutenants, give me the shoot first.
Yeah. I mostly the only reason I don't like it is because I don't want to play against it in aggro.
Right.
I
But
mean,
otherwise, like it
I
seems
run
pretty
this
good.
in my Krennic deck. My
Smart.
Krennic Cunning. I have 2 of them in there.
I like it in Krennic. Like the health increase gives you greater chance
Health
to
increase does help.
get that. Plus, the tempo. I don't.
I
I don't.
like putting it on a Death Trooper. I think it's fun.
It seems fine for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of people were cold on this card, but I still kind of like it. Like I think I immediately in like my Sabine yellow, I took out the infiltrator skills and put in the snapshots. I mean, it might be like a sideboard thing where like if I'm playing a lot of Sentinel, I'd rather
So
have
without
it.
Sentinel, it is just better. But
Yeah, without if there's no Sentinels, yeah, it's just better than infiltrator skill. And I really liked infiltrator skill. So I don't know. Next card, Bamboozle. This was really interesting card. It was a 2-cost event that's in Cunning Heroism. Uh, its text says you can discard a Cunning card from your hand instead of playing this event's cost. And then the text is exhaust a unit and return each upgrade on it to its owner's hand. Notably, rules wise, a villain deck could run this and discard a yellow card to play it for free, so that like, they wouldn't have to pay the
oh,
penalty.
that's
Yep.
a good point. I didn't even think about that
Which
part.
is kind of it. Like, yeah, the villain deck would have to pay 4 to play it, like if they're in yellow, but
Yeah, but you're gonna have a ton of yellow cards if you're
which is
running like mono yellow villain, and you have you like mono yellow villain right now. Then has this for if you play with this for free, essentially by the discard. You have this. You have Asteroid Sanctuary. You have No Good to Me Dead, and you have Cunning. That's
cost everything.
12 cards of your deck that just exhaust stuff for cheap. Like that's going to be really annoying to sit across from. I mean, obviously, like it is a card, and there is going to need to be able to do other stuff other than just exhaust your units and
Yeah.
not do
Well, the
anything
other the
else.
other rules note like shield and experience tokens just get set aside too. So it's like basically saying
Yeah, that is
remove
cool.
all
That
shields and experience tokens from whatever you hit with this as well. Which leads to my like little. I think I pointed this out in the Discord. It's kind of thematic that the bamboozle with that art like totally hoses Lieutenant Chilton, which was the cell block
oh, is
lieutenant.
is that who he actually is? He's the cell block dude.
Yeah, Lieutenant Chilton's like the
Okay.
the cell block dude in there when Han shows up. So it's like
We're good.
you're
We're all
like, I
good
ban
here.
my Chilton with all these XP tokens, and you're like,
Yeah. Okay.
bamboozle, chuck them all off.
Yeah,
You're
that's some
tiny.
We're good
sick
here. How are you?
We're
backline.
good here. How are you? It's funny. Yeah, Garrett, did you have any thoughts on bamboozle?
I think it's fine. Like I think I like the idea of putting it in a villain deck. And like because you're not most people aren't going to see it coming. And I
Right.
think bouncing upgrades is just like if you're playing for tempo, this is a good tempo card. Of course, the upgrades we have right now, you might not want to bounce them sometimes, like snapshot, um, or like Luke's lightsaber or Vader's saber. You're probably not wanting to bounce those.
Yeah.
Right.
But as we get more upgrades that we'll see more frequency of, I think it will get better.
Yeah, I think it's good
Do you
sideboard.
ever run it instead of Asteroid Sanctuary, or is it like always in addition to? I definitely like the sideboard idea because it's like if they're running upgrades, or like even better if they're like a Tarkin deck, they're like, oh yeah, I'll just put this in here to just like nuke down their value.
I
Yeah.
mean, I would in a hero deck, I'm probably running that. I'm definitely putting it in the sideboard, but I'm probably running that over Asteroid.
It's just a matter of like how valuable is the shield versus just the possibility of playing it for free.
Yeah. I mean, if you know you're playing
I mean,
against a lot of Saboteur stuff,
People play Asteroid Sanctuary without getting the shield plenty of times, just because
Mm-hmm.
when you need it, you need it. You know, when you need to sit Vader down, you got to sit Vader down, and it doesn't really matter. Like
yeah.
you're gonna take what you can get.
I don't know. I like bamboozle in the aggro mirror. I think it's
Yeah,
very tech there. Like if you're both like aggroing and you can be like, I will just use my extra cards to make sure I'm ahead of the race without having to spend resources.
and Sabine
Feels
does
really
run wing leaders, so if you're running
yeah.
against other Sabine and
Always
take
hit the
their
wing
wing leader
leader.
value away, that can be like crippling.
Yep. Anyway, moving on to the next card, the Medal Ceremony. This is an event that is heroism only, single heroism
It's
aspect. It
free.
costs 0. It's free. This is the first 0 cost card we've seen. It's text says give an experience token to each of up to 3 rebel units that have attacked this phase.
And the art is also great on this one because Chewie is just so damn sad. He's just like,
Oh, I
damn
know.
it,
Poor Chewie still
where's
doesn't get
my
his
medal?
award.
um,
which is funny because he doesn't have the rebel trait. Neither does Han,
True.
but great Sabine, great Sabine card.
Yeah, I don't know. I
yeah, I
keep
mean,
wondering
Sabine's
if this.
mostly running Let Rebels.
Yeah, is it win more though? That was my immediate question. Like, if I get to a point where I've attacked with like 2 or 3 rebels, and they're still alive, like, am I not just like probably super winning that game?
Not necessarily. I mean, I don't know. In the big swing turn, where it's just like I need to stick a little bit more damage going into like the last round. I mean, I think if you get 2 off of it, and you are already going to be behind on like the initiative,
I mean, that one
it
extra
doesn't
help
feel like.
they're each getting could be big too, because that's gonna
Makes it
slow
harder to
down
push.
them trying to take out your board.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to try it. So, but that was my initial thought. Like, yeah, Sabine and like
I
Leia.
mean, it's definitely an aggro card. I mean, I don't see how you're ever really going to get value out of it in anything else. I just don't.
I could see it in if we had a lot of like big butt Sentinel rebels.
Do
It
we
could
have
be like
that?
we have like vigilant honor guards, and I don't know. There's some like there
I
could be
mean,
more. Like it
Bright
could be
Hope,
a weird
Bright
control
Hope's a
deck
rebel.
kind of thing where you're just like, I'm gonna
That's a
get
good point. I would definitely want to give Bright Hope an XP.
yeah.
A 3/7 Sentinels sounds real nice.
Yeah, there's a thing like where if you have the Sentinels, like you can ignore their units and just go to their base, and then they have to attack into units, and you're still alive. You're like, I'm even bigger, and still going to your base.
I mean, if a Hera deck is doing exactly what it wants to do, it's going to have multiple rebels on the board.
It's good. Hera
It's like I'd
probably
probably
likes that
try
deck.
to do it in Hera. It's just I question whether Hera is going to be able to have the board it wants or needs to win games.
That is the
Right.
question.
Yep. Anyway, on to the last 2 spoilers, which actually aren't on the DB yet, but we're going to talk about them anyway because we know about them and they are on the Discord. The both of these were at whatever, I don't know even know what the French event is. But we saw uh, I don't know what the translation of the title is. It's called this is
Saber Laser Jedi.
yeah, the Saber Laser Jedi Jedi lightsaber. I'm
Yeah,
guessing
yeah.
is
Most
probably a
likely.
safe assumption. It's a upgrade that is in vigilance heroism, cost 3. It's essentially the counterpart to the fallen lightsaber is what we're looking at. So it's not unique. It gives +3 power, +3 HP. You can put the upgrade on a non-vehicle unit, just like the fallen lightsaber. And then the text says, if attached unit is a force unit, on it gains the ability that on attack give -2/-2 to the defender for this phase. So yeah, it's like the fallen lightsaber. It can only hit the unit that you attack. Where like fallen lightsaber does like the damage to each ground unit. This is essentially just making your force guy good at taking out units. I think is the thing here. I'll throw it to Garrett. What do you think of it?
I like it. I mean, I don't know how you can't like this one. It's it just can neutralize something, even if you don't
Yeah.
kill it. Like, which like if you're getting +3/+3 on something, you're hitting hard, and it's saving you damage as well. Like, it's just a good card.
We've got a lot of targets on the hero side to play this on.
Yeah,
There's
Yes,
so
I definitely
many.
feel this feels way better than Fallen Lightsaber. Just right up to me. Especially because like doing a lot of damage to a lot of weenie things feels worse than just killing the big threat. I mean,
And not taking
you
as
put
much
this on
damage as the
somebody
hero.
and a Vader's very, very vulnerable.
I like it on Yoda a lot too.
Yeah, let's. What do we got? We got
Yeah,
Yoda. We got Ezra. We got
Ezra,
Kanan.
Kanan,
We got Obi-Wan. We got
Luke.
Luke. Actually, on the flip, like
It's like you have everything from 3 to 6
yeah, there's so
drops.
so many good targets. I don't even know if I'm forgetting something, but yeah, no, a lot of
That's the main
stuff.
stuff.
It's the main stuff. Mace. You can put this on Mace. That's what I was forgetting, which is real funny when
Oh
you're like, I'm
God.
gonna make your unit like not do damage to me, so I can just like ready and clear your board.
Yeah, it'll
Like it's
actually kill
fine.
your board at that point.
Yeah, actually clear your board without trading. Um, yeah, interesting note that I think the big debate when this was released is like everyone was saying is why is the generic non-unique lightsabers, why do they feel better than Luke and Vader's lightsaber? You think that's a thing?
I yes and no. I mean, it depends because Luke and Vader's are cheaper, and
They're
if you put it on
cheaper.
Luke or Vader, they're great
Yeah,
because it is
Yeah,
Luke or Vader's lightsaber. Like it makes thematic sense.
yeah. There's definitely some weird math where I think you're okay with Fallen Lightsaber or the Jedi lightsaber, just throwing it on almost any old unit. Like you can get the card value out of it.
yeah,
But Luke's and Vader's are kind of not great unless it's specifically Luke or Vader. Like you're
yeah.
playing them.
That's pretty true. And I mean that math will change a lot too if we actually get Luke and Vader units because then you have more targets for them in those decks.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I
Assuming you're
definitely
running them
can't
together.
wait in my aggro blue Sabine to be able to flip Sabine and give her a lightsaber. And up to, is it a spoiler alert to say up to a couple months ago that that would have been weird, but now it's not?
Do
Like,
what?
to
Oh, for
flip
her to give
Sabine and
her a
give her the
lightsaber.
Jedi lightsaber.
Yeah,
It's a set soft
canonically,
spoiler.
yes. It would have been
Canonically, it's
weird.
fine now, but like if you asked me 3 months ago, I'd been like, it's weird that putting the Jedi lightsaber on Sabine after I flip her is good, but it is now. It's thematic. Weird how that turns out. Then the other spoiler, the more exciting. I don't know. They were both really damn exciting, but the other one that
I'd
I think I
agree.
was more excited for was the Avenger. It is a big old villain vigilance star destroyer. Costs 9. It has 8 power and 8 HP. And its text says, when played and on attack, an opponent chooses a non-leader unit they control and defeat that unit. Nick, what do you think?
I mean, that seems pretty great to me. I don't like not thinking. Obviously, like you're not playing this against like Sabine because you're probably not going to live that long. If you are, you're going to be fine by the time you're at 9 and have other options. But versus like any other like late game stuff, like this is the kind of thing that swings it in your favor because you play it and like you both probably only have one thing on the board. You play it, it takes their thing out. If they can't answer, they can't play anything because the next turn you're just going to kill it with this by attacking. Like it seems like a good swing card. I don't know how strong that actual effect. Like it seems really strong for them, like to be able to kill a guy automatically, but it's a matter of like obviously they get to choose what it is. So like there are situations where it might not feel good because like I just killed my Yularen on turn 9 because
Mhm.
I can. So like I can see it sometimes not getting value, but I don't know. I think it's gonna do pretty great for the decks that are doing the control thingy. It's like feels like it's one of the tools we need.
Sure. Garrett, what do you think?
I like this in Thrawn more than I like Chimera in Thrawn.
Yeah, because it works right when you play it.
Yeah, it's good. Like it's there. If you're playing a game where you're trading stuff a lot too, this is super impressive
Yeah,
because you're giving them way less choices.
Yeah, if to me it feels like it's the first late game finisher of all the big things that we've had. Like because it
even
is
more
a
than
small block.
Devastator.
A Devastator kills one thing, and it can block a lane. Like
It's pretty good.
it's pretty
It's
good.
comparable.
Like I feel like this is one. It's one cheaper, which is significant at that point. And two, like it actually can soft lock the board down,
Yeah.
which I think is important. And like if you are playing your control deck where you're controlling the crap out of everything, and you need the card that basically says this game's on lock, like you play this on an empty board, and a lot of times you can be like, this game's on lock. Like you play a unit, I will attack and it dies. Like you can't, you're soft locked onto the board unless you're going to start dropping like multiple small units or things. Like I don't know, it feels more of a late game finisher, which we'd expect out of blue than even the Devastator. The Devastator is a finisher, but yeah, just the hitting only one target once, a little bit less so. And I do like you can curve. Like people are like, oh, people could remove this, the classic removal debate. I want to curve Relentless into Avenger. Like that's the end game combo.
Oh
Like
yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Relentless Adventure is kind of like
yeah,
oh.
this game is over because you can't get rid of these. Like, and I'm clearing your board when I attack. But yeah, obviously it's not still not like if your opponent has a big board, it feels bad. This is the payoff for like you manage to control the board for 8 rounds. Now you can
I mean, it
actually
doesn't even
adapt.
feel that bad. It's still an 8/8 coming down, but like the ability's less good.
you think we can get like an Exodia card that's like
The Death Star
play this
Exodia.
event only if you have 6 Star Destroyers in play of a different name, and you have to play them from like all 4 colors, and then
Operation Cinder or whatever it was from Battlefront 2.
yeah,
Yeah,
there you
destroy the
go.
planet.
I feel like that would be cool. Just like I know, I if I get my entire armada out, you lose. There is no coming back. Deal
Yeah.
30 damage to base.
I don't know. Like maybe Saturday night I'll go crash late night just because I want to see Avenger get played in a Krennic deck or something. Like I want the Krennic deck that ends at Avenger and just starts locking games down. Let's have some fun. All right. Anyway, that's all the spoilers that we talked about. We talked about the tournaments. We talked about what we're playing. That's pretty much all I think we have to talk about this week. Do you guys have anything else you want to bring up? No.
Not
I don't
really.
think
Just
so.
go play some games.
Some
If
games.
you're
Have
listening to this right now, like this week, the Steam sale's going on. So get Tabletop Simulator for cheap.
It's true. It's a good point.
It's always on sale, like every sale.
Yeah, I don't know when people will be listening to this. I don't know if I'll get it done for Turkey Day tomorrow. I might go up like Friday morning, like when I get around to it. But yeah, go do the Steam sale and enjoy your holiday. Go watch some football and eat some food. That's what I'm gonna be doing.
Yep.
You guys got big Turkey Day plans?
Just
Nope.
Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving?
Yep.
I think we're just doing a family thing. I like to cook the whole dinner. I cook, so I do the whole thing from scratch. Every little thing. I dry brine the turkey before we got on this stream.
Oh, I just have a microwave, so
Yeah, you're just like I just throw it all. Get the microwave turkey dinner and throw it in the microwave. Problem solved. All right. On that note, we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.